Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back putting a positive spin on Mac and Me. Mac and Me is a 1988 film, and it is universally hated. At least, that's what people would lead you to believe. I'm under the impression that people actually like this movie. They just feel obligated to tell you they don't. It's one of those cases where it's almost taboo to admit you like this film. Regardless, Mac and Me appears on many lists of the worst movies ever made. It's not, though. Not even close. Mac and Me is one of those movies I feel everyone at least knows about, even if they haven't seen it. Watching it together for Positive Spin was a first-time watch for Jason, and others who haven't seen it are at least aware of the infamous Paul Rudd clip. No, he's not in Mac and Me, but he uses a clip from it to promote his movies. He does this as a joke, of course, but it's sort of caught on. It's a viral thing. I'll mention that specific scene in just a bit, though. But now, here are my positives for Mac and Me. First of all, I love its self-awareness. It doesn't even try to hide the fact that it's capitalizing on E.T.'s success. For one thing, the storyline, but also the fact that Mac stands for Mysterious Alien Creature, just like E.T. stands for Extraterrestrial. Both films were also released by Orion Home Video. This here is one of my VHS editions of Mac and Me. I can't continue without mentioning the absolute 80s nostalgia. Mac and Me is an 80s time capsule, and I love it for that. It has a great 80s feel, and the tone of a Critters film, albeit more lighthearted. The opening and subsequent scenes set on Mac's home planet is a positive. It looks like he came from Tatooine. I love the look of the aliens and the way they move. I especially like Mac's eyes. There are some really cool shots, especially when Mac and his family escape the lab at the start of the film. The lighting is done really well in the scene. I like when Mac is flat to the windshield in the accidents. It looks cool. We get a short cameo from a young Danny Cooksey, who went on to star in Salute Your Shorts and Terminator 2, among other things. Jonathan Ward, who played Douglas in the first season of Charles in Charge, stars in Mac and Me. That's more 80s nostalgia right there. He plays Michael, older brother of Eric, and I like their family. Christine Ebersole plays their mother, Janet. And for some reason, I always think of My Girl, too, when I see her in other things. I love the parallel of the family moving into a new house in a new neighborhood in an entirely new state. That goes hand in hand with Mac living on an entirely new planet. Like I said, I love that parallel. I like the way Mac tries calling out to his family, and the way the aliens communicate. Okay, now, the infamous Paul Rudd scene. Eric, in his wheelchair, goes flying off of a cliff. The shot of the obvious dummy in the chair, torpedoing toward the water, is hilarious. If that's not entertainment, come on, what is? I like the effects of Eric and his friend Debbie vacuuming up Mac. There are some good, misty night shots in Mac and Me. It's fun watching Mac drive around in the remote control car while all of the neighborhood dogs chase after him. Then there's Mac dressed up as the teddy bear, which brings us to the other infamous scene in the movie, the McDonald's dance. It's literally a choreographed dance sequence at McDonald's. This movie, by the way, is like one big marketing campaign for McDonald's, and particularly Coca-Cola. Even the name, Think about it. Mac. You know, like Big Mac. Ronald McDonald himself is in the film. Poor guy. He was canceled a few years back. This whole birthday party scene at McDonald's, by the way, is more 80s nostalgia. The look of the classic 80s McDonald's restaurants, the menu, the cups, and food cartons. I miss it all, and this film really brings me back. Later on, there is a scene set in a Sears department store where Janet works. Yet again, more 80s nostalgia. Considering most Sears locations have since closed, I love seeing it in the film. I remember going to Sears a lot with my grandparents when they were still alive, and my parents as well. Unfortunately, all of the stores local to me have closed. But it's nice to be able to revisit Sears in Mac and Me, which is why preserving movies is so important. That's why I always say, physical media matters. What else? The underground tunnels are cool when Mac finds his family in the mines. I have to admit, the reunion is kind of touching. The way the kids and their teen siblings work together has a Goonies flair. At one point, while we were watching this, Jason even said Mac's dad reminded him of Sloth. The scene of Mac and his alien family walking into the grocery store is hilarious. If you look closely, you can catch a glimpse of the old brawny paper towel guy. More 80s nostalgia. The shootout in the parking lot is epic with that explosion. That's when Mac and Me takes a dark turn. And finally, I'll end on a lighter note with the aliens wearing clothes. I find that so funny. Not just Mac's dad in his suit, but specifically Mac's sister with the bow on her head, considering she's completely bald. Mac and Me is a wacky good time, and I don't think it deserves the hate. This is just a fun family film. What's wrong with it? It's not trying to actually be E.T., it's just an entertaining alternative. More people like this. I know you do. You can admit it. But if not, well, you don't have to agree. This is just my positive spin. Please be sure to check out Jason's as well to hear what he has to say about Mac and Me. What are your thoughts on this universally hated film? Comment below and let me know. To which hated movie will we next give a positive spin? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and, be kind, subscribe.